Hi there. Welcome back to ISO English Inside, the podcast where we simplify standards, decode technical English, and help you grow as a quality professional, one episode at a time. Today we're going to tackle one of the most important, but also the most confusing, parts of ISO 9001. The structure. The clauses. You've probably seen them listed before. Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6, all the way to 10. But what do they really mean? And how do they work together? By the end of this episode, you'll not only understand the overall structure of ISO 9001, but you'll also be more confident reading, talking, and even auditing based on its clauses. Let's jump right in. Now, if you open up a copy of ISO 9001:2015, you'll notice that the standard is organized into 10 sections, or as we call them, clauses. But here's a secret. Only clauses 4 to 10 contain requirements. The first 3, clauses 1, 2, and 3, are just introductory. They explain the scope, references, and terms used in the standard. So if you're building or auditing a quality management system, your real focus will always be on clauses 4 to 10. Now let's walk through each one, with simple language and real-world examples. Clause 4, context of the organization. This clause is about understanding the world around your business. It asks you to think, what are the internal and external issues affecting us? Who are our interested parties? What are their expectations? You also have to define the scope of your QMS. In other words, what parts of the organization it covers, and document your core processes. Let me give you an example. Imagine you run a company that manufactures medical devices. Your external issues might include strict government regulations, competition, and market trends. Internally, you might be dealing with staff shortages or old equipment. Interested parties? Think customers, suppliers, regulators, even your own employees. Clause 4 helps you see the big picture, so your QMS isn't built in a vacuum. Clause 5, leadership. This clause is all about the role of top management. ISO wants leaders to be fully involved, not just signing policies, but actually demonstrating commitment to quality. That means setting the quality policy, aligning the QMS with business strategy, making sure roles and responsibilities are clear, supporting people, not just watching from a distance. In plain English, leadership is not a spectator sport. If your general manager doesn't care about ISO, your system won't work. It has to start from the top. Clause 6, planning. Planning in ISO 9001 is more than setting goals. It's about understanding risks and opportunities, setting quality objectives, and making action plans to achieve them. You might hear the term risk-based thinking. This is where it lives. Let's say your objective is to reduce customer complaints by 25% this year. Clause 6 asks, what risks might stop you? What opportunities could help you? What's your plan to get there? It's structured, strategic, and forward-looking. ISO isn't just about fixing problems, it's about preventing them. Clause 7, support. This is one of the most people-focused clauses. It covers resources, competence, awareness, communication, documented information. Basically, do your people have what they need to do a quality job? Let me simplify it. You can't blame workers if they weren't trained. You can't expect consistency without documentation. And you can't improve communication if roles aren't clear. Clause 7 is where we make sure the human side of the system is ready and equipped. Clause 8, operation. Now we get to the core of the business. Clause 8 is where the action happens. This clause covers product/service design if applicable, purchasing and supplier control, production or service delivery, identification, traceability, customer communication, and more. If you're in manufacturing, this is where all your factory processes live. If you're in a service company, it's where your workflows, delivery steps, and customer interactions are defined. Clause 8 is big, but the message is simple. Plan it, control it, monitor it. Clause 9, performance evaluation. Time to check how things are going. This clause requires you to monitor and measure processes, attract customer satisfaction, conduct internal audits, hold management reviews. So think of Clause 9 as the check phase of the PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, act. You can't improve what you don't measure. ISO wants you to gather data, reflect, and respond. Clause 10, improvement. Finally, Clause 10, the act in PDCA. This is where you handle nonconformities, corrective actions, continual improvement. The key idea here? Every problem is a chance to get better. Let's say you had a late delivery. ISO doesn't just want you to apologize. It wants you to investigate the root cause, fix it at the source, and prevent it from happening again. ISO isn't about being perfect. It's about getting better every day. Okay, let's do a quick recap of the structure. Clause 4, understand your context. Clause 5, leadership commitment. Clause 6, risk-based planning. Clause 7, people, training, and documentation. Clause 8, operations and delivery. Clause 9, measure performance. Clause 10, improve continuously. Each clause supports the others. Together, they form a complete quality system. And here's a bonus tip, especially if you're learning ISO in English. Each clause has its own key vocabulary. For example, Clause 6, objectives, risk, planning. Clause 7, competence, awareness, documented information. Clause 9, monitor, audit, review. Clause 10, nonconformity, root cause, corrective action. If you're preparing for audits, writing procedures, or just improving your English, study these terms clause by clause. You'll sound more professional and feel more confident. So what's the takeaway? ISO 9001 isn't just a checklist. It's a logical framework, a structure that helps organizations deliver value, avoid mistakes, and keep improving. Understanding the clauses is step 1. Applying them to your daily work? That's where the real growth begins. And as always, the better you understand the structure, the better you can speak the language of quality, in English and in action. Thanks for joining me on this episode of ISO English Inside. In the next episode, we'll dive deeper into Clause 4 and how to define your organization's context, with practical examples, sample English phrases, and maybe a few mistakes to avoid. If you liked this format, please follow the show, share it with your team, or leave a quick review. Until next time, stay focused, stay compliant, and keep improving.